Yeah, you clicked on that link, and that means you are on AmaFama. Welcome. Okay, so I'm laughing because, first of all, we have Sandile from SACTA. He's back also. He's back. We are recycling here on AmaFama. Second is we're going to talk about an issue which has been a buzzword throughout South Africa, basically, even other countries, and that is transformation. Yes, transformation. I know we've heard it so many times. So we're going to dive deep into this thing. What is transformation? But before we get into it, Sandile, welcome back.
No, thank you, Terry. Thank you for having me again. I think, as you said, my name is Sandile Mahlangu. I'm a transformation manager at SACTA. I come from Mpumalanga, KwaNdebele, I think, and I'm an agricultural economist by training, having worked for ARC, then joined SACTA later, and also having practiced a bit outside the sector.
So let's start, Sandile. How did you get into agriculture?
Yeah, I nearly said agriculture chose me, but how I got to be involved, it was because of, I think, the passion for development and being interested, also seeing older generation of families having cattle and doing a bit of crop farming, not at the commercial scale. And when you look at the cattle and you're thinking can make money, but then the farmer or the owner of that cattle will tell you this is part of the family. Instead, when they have a ceremony, they will go buy outside. And I guess then I started getting interested from there, just to say this is something that can make money. And whether it was going to make money, I was not sure, but I had seen a potential that it can possibly stimulate the economy in the local areas.
I mean, listen to you right now talking. So it sounds to me, Uguti, you had these kind of dreams from a young age. So let's talk about your early days. Once upon a time, you were also a student.
Yes.
And to transition from being a student and getting into the market, it must have been tough. So tell me about some of those challenges and how it propelled you to go into transformation.
Yeah, it was a bit of a challenge. And I think first is an issue of you don't even know what more opportunities are out there. Initially, when you're studying as a black child, your employer is the government. And only to realize government is also not growing in terms of absorbing the new. And now it becomes a bit of a challenge, and you are told you have your first degree, and you almost, when you complete your first degree, you realize it's no longer as relevant as you thought it would have been. You go for your postgrad. After your postgrad, we are almost then again no longer suitable for an entry-level job. You're more of a researcher now, or you should be, but you don't have the experience as well. It was a bit of a challenge. And I think then from there, it was also an issue. You need to expose yourself to more knowledge when you meet people. I always say one of the opportunities I missed when I was transitioning from being a student to working was networking. One is never network enough, so you are able, people teach you what they're doing, or also have a mentor who says this is the industry and this is how the industry works.
Yeah, I mean, we had a farmer here by the name of Solomaimani. She hammered on the fact that you need to network.
Yes.
You can't go to these farmers' days and you I'm a photo and basically, I'm with so-and-so. You need to network.
I think that's true. Maybe as the industry or even the education sector, we almost need to say, how then do you network? Because then there's an issue of you need to network, and we know it's important to network. And we have seen that most people who are successful, always something that they turn back to is, we network well, or my parent networked well. That's why in some cultures you find when the father is a doctor, even the youngest child is a doctor, because of that network that they created. It's important as well. It's important to network, but I think We just need to go back to the basic and say, how then do you network? I go to a farmer's day. Is it for me to collect pens? Is it for me to collect whatever goodies that are there? Or as I meet this person, do I introduce myself and say, my name is so-and-so, this is what I want? Those elevator pitch as you meet people as well. I think those are basic skills that we probably need to have.
So the reason why you're here is we are talking about quite a controversial thing called transformation. So let's talk now. Let's talk, what does the word transformation mean in context of agriculture, particularly for you and for SACTA?
Yeah. And maybe first we need to say we made it controversial. It's not supposed to be a controversial thing. Transformation it's not supposed to be seen as something that people are forced to do. It must be done. There were a bit of delays that happened. We know our history, and it's something that must happen. And therefore, we just need to go back and say, yes, it might, whenever you say the word, you are looked at, for me, when I say I'm a transformation manager, I'm looked at as a face of trying to present a certain statistics. And for us, it's not statistic. And even at SACTA, transformation is not looked at as by the way activity. We have our main mandate that we do because we collect levies. But SACTA board and management looked at transformation as this is also a key driver for SACTA. And for us, transformation, maybe even going back to the definition of transformation, is totally changing the situation. And when we do transformation, for us, it's not a matter of pushing numbers, but wherever we intervene or we find our intervention being involved, we want to see a total change. Is it easy? No, it's not. Is it going to take us 2 years, 3 years? We're not sure, but we also know it's not a destination you arrive at. It's a process that you take through. For us, then, we say transformation to us is, yes, we have money that is reserved because, as Andrew had mentioned, that you will have money because the statutory levy, 20% of that money must go into transformation. But we also say, yes, we have that money. However, we need to spend it responsibly. And we need to spend it where there is a need. And we also need to spend or join hands with people who want to be transformed, those that we say we want to give them money to, but also we want to partner with people who understand where we want to go, and we have similar or the same objective. Everyone or most people have transformation part that they are doing, but that does not mean everyone who's doing it is in line or aligned with where we want to go. Then for us at SACTA, transformation, like I said, is not by the way. It's if you come into a board meeting at SACTA when we discuss transformation, it's not a matter of finish. It's actually one of those priorities that we need to look at, and we are constantly trying to find better ways on how we can implement the activities that we implement.
When we were at Nampu, I saw you were with a group of young people. Do you understand? And I was like, yeah, I was actually quite impressed, the way you also spoke to them, the way you handled them. So let's look at the landscape now. Are young people excited about the agri-space from your experience?
They are. They are very excited. They are the future of agriculture. And I just read a quote where someone said, we're no longer interested in making agriculture fashionable, but we want to make it work and for us. I think it's good that we want to make it fashionable. We are attracting people, but now it's time. People are in now. They say, what's happening? And young people are excited, and they're learning a lot. The group that we're with, it's actually students that are with agricultural colleges. They're doing their in-service training at one of the farms that we are funding, and they are there. They are excited. Some of them want to be farmers. Some want to come and be scientists and be technical guys and be extension officers. young people are excited, and those even who want to be farmers, they are also excited as well. We're all excited. I'm not as young as I once would have been, but I think I'm excited as well.
I mean, I actually managed to speak to one or two of them there at Nampo. And from their experience, there was one particular gentleman there. He's very young. He said it was his first time at Nampo. And he said he was like a windscreen wiper. He was like, wow. Because he didn't know where to look.
Yeah.
To understand. So that, for me, I was very excited when I saw that. But also sad at the same time that Nampo has been around for Lord knows how long. And then you get still young people who have never been exposed to the agri sector. So looking at the landscape right now, are we moving forward or are we still stagnating in terms of introducing young people into the agri sector, particularly black young people?
Yeah. It's a difficult question, and one when I don't want to be biased and say we are doing some activities and we are pushing towards a certain direction. But are we doing enough? No. And are we necessarily exposing the right people? No. Because we are bringing young people and young people are being exposed. But those that are exposed are actually ones who are more privileged in order for them to access. We are not taking these activities or exposure to the deep rural areas. Because the student you met, they are 30 years, and they're probably less than 100 kilometers away from Nampo where they are studying, but they've never been exposed to Nampo. And it goes back to the issue of networking to say, how? Because then there's that issue. Yes, I'm in agriculture. How then do I network? How do I get the exposure? Because maybe if we teach the skill of how do we network, how do you get exposure, that would have said to students they must ask to be exposed to those things.
I have a gripe with transformation.
Yep.
I'm going to say it as it is. Get one or two young people, preferably people of color, put them in the front of the office. Let them be the point of contact for new people that come in. So that when new people that come in, they say, I see this company has transformed. There is a person of color greeting me in the door. In the meantime, that person of color has had the same position for the last 10 years. Didn't grow. So let's get into transformation. I know, that's why it's but we have to, this is AmaFama, we have to ask the right questions.
No, we have to.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
And we have to be honest.
Yeah, we have to be honest. Yeah. So now, from your experience, because I asked you earlier, are we doing enough?
Yes.
But from your experience, what do we need to start doing to make sure that that kind of scenarios don't happen as often as they do now?
Yeah. I think maybe to reference, if you look at what the government is proposing now to have a national dialogue, we almost need something similar, and I will be specific to the sector where I'm exposed, agriculture. We need to be honest and have a frank conversation on what transformation means. Because also the fact that you will put, and I will make myself as an example, as much as I'm not, I'm a bit lucky as SACTA because one is allowed to drive the transformation, one is allowed to have opinions and, bring, because I understand how black people think or how things work in the black communities too. But as a country, we need to sit down and say, what is this transformation that we want? And is this transformation we wanted in 1994 the same transformation we want now? So also we can be able then now to put in indicators or measure a form of measurements to say having a black person at the management level but no influence or not even allowing them to share what it will mean or how things should be done, it's not transformation. And if we go back to those then and say, this is what transformation is, and this is how we see transformation, and this is how we want transformation to happen. Because then the biggest issue here is that people see transformation as being against white farmers or white community. And it's not. But it's saying we want transformation because we want to level the field. Let's all sit on the table. No one should be under the table. And we all have an opinion. And that's what transformation will be. We're transforming, we're making sure that the sector and the value chain, the entire value chain, everyone is equal in that. And we're not saying we must make favors then for incompetent black people. If you are incompetent, you are not supposed to be on the table. But transformation says, let's transform those that are incompetent, those that deserve. And the reason now you have where you say there must be special programs is because black people are 10 steps back, if not even more. Then you're trying to say, let's have special programs or vehicles that bring them to be at the same level so we can compete if we need to compete, or we can join hands and work together if we have to join hands and work together.
So Andrew, when Andrew and I had a chat, he said 20% of the SACTA levy goes to your department. Yes. So, I mean, transformation doesn't necessarily mean just bringing people in the sector. What about the people that are already in the sector? I'm talking about the small-scale farmers that you guys aid. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. I think as Andrew mentioned, the 20%, which is from the statutory levy, it's meant for transformation and being guided by an NMC framework that helps us to say from that 20%, at least 60% of that must go into enterprise development. And that's when then we fund, I would prefer to call them smallholder farmers than scale, because it's not an issue of scale, but it's an issue of resource available to them. And we help those that are entering into, but our main focus is on those that are already in the sector and want to progress to be more commercial or to be more sustainable. That's why, therefore, the SACTA board had decided that we must provide our funding in terms of interest-free loan or interest-free production loans. Therefore, you almost say you have this revolving fund, and the revolving fund then says we must help each other move it. You know, probably in Uguzotiwa Stockfell or Mkholiswano in the Eastern Cape, and you just move it like that. We help those farmers with input production loan that are soft loan, because it's a zero interest free loan. And we work through service providers or companies that have the technical know-how, the mentorship, capacity to make sure that they can train a farmer to gain skills that they don't have and be sustainable, but also help a farmer to be able to access commercial loan. Therefore, SACTA closes that gap in that process where a farmer is not necessarily eligible to can access a commercial loan. But again, they've moved out almost at the space of where they can rely on a grant, because we know a grant can never be a significant amount. Therefore, SACTA provide that space, provide that cushion to make sure a farmer establish themselves so they can be able to be pushed on the other side of being commercial. And maybe the special thing about SACTA and that we always try, and every farmer who's a grain farmer and produces the crops that SACTA collect levies on, whether black, white, pink, or green, they pay the levy. Therefore, the very same farmer that we are supporting on grain also contribute towards this 20%. One way or another, yes, it could be a small amount, but they definitely also contribute. Then the other thing that we have learned over years, and as I've said, that transformation is not a stop you get into, but it's a process and a journey. We allow crop rotation. And with that, the crop rotation is because we understand we want to develop a sustainable farmer or a commercial farmer. We are not necessarily developing a soybean farmer. Definitely would love to have more soybean farmer, because then that will mean one way or another more levy to help more people. Mm-hmm. But at the end, what we want is to create a sustainable commercial farmer, but more on the sustainable side to make sure that the farmer can make a living and they can grow even on their own.
I mean, earlier on you mentioned we need to have talks, and I just remembered now. when I had a chat with Andrew, we spoke about the event that SACTA is holding, the annual event that SACTA is going to be holding. And from your particular side, I know there's going to be a panel discussion with well-known people in the agri-space, and we're going to talk about transformation. Just tell me a little bit more about that. What do I have to look for when I attend the event?
It's going to be an exciting panel discussion. And we have tried at SACTA almost every year to have discussions specific on transformation. And from that, for us, is not just a show, but we're learning as well, because it's different people sitting around the table and discussing this. We are learning on how we can improve, but we're also creating an opportunity for people to partner. And this year's event focuses on how to transition smallholder farmers to be commercial. And with that, you're looking at what the challenges actually that are. But you also want to learn from different experts or people in the sector to say, how are you doing it? And how can we then as SACTA customize it to fit where we are and where we want to go? And in that panel, then you have guys from agribusiness like Praveen, and you have guys from Oilseed Development Trust who then work more on those oilseed, and they will tell us more on how also they do their transformation. You have guys from government, of which is the National Agricultural Marketing Council, who will guide us in terms of where does government see transformation go, but also how can we make sure that we are within those transformation scale. You also have guys from Grain SA or Grain Palmer who have been doing it for some time as well. And we're excited to learn as SACTA, but we are also excited to start a conversation that even those that will be watching online, who will be logging in online, to make sure that this is the conversation that we must continue on and we shape. We are open for learning as SACTA, and one of our best things is that we prefer to use a bottom-up approach. We learn from farmers who inform us that this is the gap, but you also want to learn from those who have been doing it over time, so you can improve your systems going forward. But we're really inviting everyone to log in, post their comments and questions. Let's drive this. Transformation is a SACTA program. But this is more than just a SACTA program. It's a transformation journey that we are on in South Africa. And after 30 years, yes, we have made progress. But can we do more? Yes, we can. Unfortunately, the only way we can do more is if we collaborate and partner in order to make sure that this transformation is meaningful for those that we are servicing. But as well, for us, is that the transformation must be driven by those that we are transforming. Unless those that we are transforming are not on the table where we discuss this, therefore it's a useless transformation you're trying to do. You're sitting in your boardroom, you think just because we have come up with a certain model, then it will work on the ground. Farmers must inform the whole transformation thing.
And you mentioned Uguti. Transformation is for those who want to be transformed must also be part of that transformation.
Yes.
So, manje, I'm going to speak like Obaba, even though I don't have children. My late father was like, hey, Baba, I can provide you with everything.
True.
I can provide the well for you to go drink water on, but it's up to you to go drink water.
Yes.
So you said, like you mentioned a word, grants.
Yes.
Yes, which is a wonderful thing. I mean, almost every country, every developed country in the world has a grant. But then again, when as a person, do you want to move forward from grant or not? So basically what I'm saying, it's up to you to be transformed. Isn't that correct?
It's transformation and development should be a farmer aspiration. Farmers themselves must tell us where they want to go. A grant has its role and its specific space that it can play. Grant is mainly from a government position where they're using tax monies, and we know the pot is not growing. The pot is actually shrinking. Therefore, if we can never be able to achieve some of the things only on grants, of which is the reason why we have this soft loan, to make sure that you almost circulate and revolve these funds. You develop this guy today. As soon as he's up, you are able to use the same money to go develop someone else. Grant will have its own role, but definitely if you want to grow, you can never want to be a commercial farmer who's able to access a loan that, or be able to access a combine harvester on grant. Government does not have that much money. Therefore, you almost want to grow. But and I'm still saying, it's a farmer aspiration. We want to walk the journey with you if it's a journey that you want to walk. But also, farmers always need to understand that it is their farm. I always find it hard when a farmer says to me, I last saw my extension officers when he came or when she came here. As a farmer, you must call that person to come into your farm. Now we'll start realizing that you are a guy who knows where you want to go. You are only joining hands with us and we are partnering. And that's how we see ourselves. SACTA is not necessarily a funder, but we see ourselves as a collaborator or a partner, whether it's with a company that is going to be giving technical advice, monitoring, or it's with the farmer. We are partners in this thing. We are moving with you. It's just that our role is mainly to provide funding, but of which is the reason why, as much as we provide funding, but we also sit with you and try and learn from you as much as you can learn from us. And we develop the project together and develop the farmer, but who wants to be developed? I think it's high time where we also, I think those of us who want to be transformed, we must take a lead in this transformation space.
Yazi, before we go further, I know AmaViewers way to higher. When I say AmaViewers, I'm talking about you guys. Go to the SACTA website and go in there and you'll see all the stuff that they have, particularly when it comes to funding. Don't send me a DM and comments asking me, Guti, where can I access this funding? Go to the SACTA website. All the info is there. And do yourself a favor. Log in when the event happens and see for yourself where we are in terms of transformation and how much work SACTA is actually doing on the ground in terms of developing people and in the agri-space as a whole. Sanile, we're not done with you, Pella. We're not done with you when Pella, we're talking about transformation now, you know, you know what I'm saying? Transformation doesn't necessarily mean also coming into. It can mean taking somebody from primary agriculture into secondary. I mean, there's far more opportunities within the value chain of agriculture. Isn't this correct?
There is. There's a lot of opportunities, and of which it's from farming, after, but also even before farming starts. There's opportunities to become probably a distributor of certain inputs, or those that have studied agriculture and have developed experience and skill can become mentors to farmers, and they can actually, others of which a gap that I've realized is in terms of business development or running your farmer's business. And young people can come in and try and help there. We have seen how other sectors have brought different business where a timer, Liz Ranella, his own spaza shop, but then you have a certain enterprise coming in to make sure that it's, and those are some of those. And even in the what Andrew was speaking about in terms of genetics, in terms of entomologists, there's also a need to have those young black people in those space. And SACTA, I think as SACTA, even on the issue of breeding and technology, there's less breeders or even to non-black breeders. And even those that are there, white breeders, most of them are getting old. And we just also had with one of our stakeholders who was just mentioning that the silo management, it's actually getting old. It's aging, that group. You also need those more. There's opportunities, and SACTA then has bursaries postgraduate bursaries meant for breeding and technology. And if people can apply and then go through our website, then they can find and be able to apply. So they can be breeders or be technologists in some of those things.
A classic example is sitting right in front of me. You are an agri-economist.
Yes.
And yet you're not on a farm, but you're contributing to agriculture.
Definitely. Not true, Tabi. And I think there's a lot in agriculture than farming itself. And these actually support agriculture, or support farmers to be able to produce more. And you look in other races, most people who are agricultural experts or working in the field, they're also farmers. And maybe if then you can venture into, as much as you are a farmer, you want to have a farm, but you can also have these other skills and be.
Last question, last thought from you, Sandile. Yes. I mean, you deal with a lot of young people. You see good and bad things. You see the gaps that we still need to fill. And yet you also see some of the successes that we made. It's not Uchi's, I'm a complaining pelanje, do you understand? Just give me one success story that you've, came across.
Yeah. I'm glad, Tabi, that you, after all our discussion, we're elevating the good stories. Because also the issue that transformation is not seen as something that it's working, it's because we're not telling our good stories. One good story is maybe not being a young farmer, but Puka Feedlot, who is a farmer that we're supporting as SACTA, but acquired the land through also land bank being involved. But there's also, he's hosting the TVET in-service training students, and he has also benefited from mechanization loan from SACTA. Then now you can look at that guy, and as I said, it's Puka Feedlot. It's mainly on the feedlot, but he has all of these other enterprises that are around. And he's almost a model of how a best farm can work. And there's also some of the successes at SACTA. It's the PhD graduates that we had. And we're having PhD graduates who investigated interesting and innovative ways. And I think those are successes that needs to be told. It's good stories that we must tell. As much as we're not saying we have arrived, we still have a long way to go. But there are successes, and we have contributed. And one probably we will also we need to try and quantify the success that we have had. And the SACTA, we will also try and quantify in terms of, out of these levies, what is the percentage that has been delivered by the black and how it has been growing over years. And then we will realize that it's not as bad as it is. Yes, there is room for improvement.
Sandile, thank you for popping by once again.
Thank you, Tabi.
And before I let you go, just a thought from me to you particularly and to SACTA. I mean, to show that there is progress. You are here.
Yes.
And we are having this platform. Do you understand? And SACTA wanted to become part of this platform, which to me means that we are moving forward.
Yes.
So thank you, and thanks to SACTA for coming through. And hopefully we have more discussions like this in future.
No, thank you to AmaFama. And we're not here because we want to show off what we have done. Yes, we want to tell the good story, but we also want to invite comments, and we want to invite more people to help us improve the processes at SACTA and be able to develop or design specific interventions that will solve the issue than just to design things for the sake of designing them. Thank you.
And thanks to you guys for popping by at AmaFama. You see, I personally think we live in the greatest country in the world, Bafetu. I mean, look at what organizations like SACTA are doing to make sure that not only our sector grows, but also food is produced more so that we feed more people. Thanks for coming through to AmaFama, and see you on the next one.